Welcome all. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force Complaint Committee for Tuesday, June 14th, 2011 at 3:30 p.m. and beginning at 3:30 p.m. Can we have the roll, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Member Nee.
Here.
Nee present. Member Washburn. Washburn absent. Member Knebber.
Here.
Knebber present. Mr. Chair, there is a quorum.
Before we begin, I'd like to see if we have a motion to excuse Member Washburn.
So move.
I second. Any discussion on, any public discussion on the motion to excuse Member Washburn from this committee meeting? Seeing none, can we have the vote, please?
On the motion, Member Nee.
Aye.
Nee, aye. Member Knebber.
Aye.
Knebber, aye. Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
Okay. So for the further votes, Member Washburn is excused. Thank you. Can we have the first item, please?
First item is the approval of May 10, 2011 regular meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
And I second. Further discussion?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do have some edits that need to be made. In item number 2, top line of the second paragraph, Cynthia Carter's first name is misspelled. Should be IA instead of AI. In item 3, Frank McDowell's name, there shouldn't be a space between the McC and the Dowell. That's in both the first and second paragraphs, and the final paragraph under public comment. Also, in item number 6, it says, Member Washburn said she will be at the May 24th meeting. I think that's that should be either not or shouldn't be there at all. And also, I believe it should say the May 24th meeting of the full task force.
I agree. Thank you, Member Nee. Mr. Clerk, could you please make those corrections? Can you make those corrections as noted?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Do we have the vote?
Public comment.
Oh, yes. Do we have public comment on the agenda? Seeing none, can we have the vote, please?
On the motion, Member Nee.
Aye.
Nee, aye. Member Knebber.
Aye.
Knebber, aye. Mr. Chair, there are 2 ayes. The motion passes.
Thank you very much. Can we have the next item, please?
Item 2 is determination of jurisdiction on complaint filed by Marlon Crump against the Police Commission for allegedly violating Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.15D and 67.25.
Is the complainant here? Please approach. Okay, I would just like to remind you that this meeting is just to determine jurisdiction. We're only here to determine if our full task force has jurisdiction over this matter. So to that point, I want you to restrain your comments to talking why we should take up this case, why it falls within our jurisdiction. Okay? You have 5 minutes.
I totally understand. Okay, so what was it? It was March 23rd, if my recollection serves me correctly, when Vice President of the Police Commission, Joe Marshall, made a rather insensitive question in regards to a young man who I advocated for in regards to his complaint that he filed against the San Francisco Police Department. Well, actually, no, his concern basically was he had been attacked by members of the San Francisco Police Department, and because he was a minor, I mean, he's still a minor, I felt compelled to advocate on his behalf. To make a long story short, Joe Marshall's exact words were, did he make a complaint? Now, at the time, I wasn't thinking too much of it, but then when I went home, I'm like, this guy just not only disrespected my credibility, but entirely the young man who was the one that, pretty much brought this attention to one of my comrades. And so a few weeks later, I called him up on it, and he actually tried to recant by stating that, that's not what he meant. When April 6th of the meeting clearly shows him actually trying to, interfere with my public comment by, basically trying to not only recant, but he was trying to hurt my credibility again. But to make everything for the record, this is not about me at all. This is about the young man. So the young man's credibility, that's the primary concern here. That's what really upset me. Because, Marshall, I went to the police commission for 5 years, over and over. And he never once said one word to me, he bypassed me and I bypassed him. So that was kind of surprising. He actually would even asked me which I feel is a very insensitive line of questioning to ask somebody. Especially a member of the public who's bringing forth a grievance, especially when it's a minor.
Thank you very much.
And I also want to state for the record that I did receive Timothy Falvey's response to my grievance, and I feel that, in all honesty, he really shouldn't be on the police commission anyway, considering that he was involved with what happened with me 5 years ago. I mean, he basically didn't know that I knew, but I always knew. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So that's pretty much why I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Is the city respondent present? I'm sorry, 1 second. Is there anybody here to present facts and evidence in support of the complainant? Seeing none, the city can report. You have 5 minutes.
Tim Falvey, not a member of the police commission, just its secretary, here to respond to the complaint of Mr. Crump. Really, I just took this up as a question of your jurisdiction over the matter, really because he's complaining more about the recanting. And I've read the ordinance, the section cited. One of the sections, he said, 67.25 immediacy response. There's no public records request made by Mr. Crump, therefore the section can't be violated if he made no complaint, and I would ask that you not consider jurisdiction on something that didn't happen. On 6715D, his complaint was that he recanted, and you heard him mention that the issue was that he felt disrespected. He also stated that at the end of reading the letter, Dr. Marshall asked, did the young man make a complaint? Part of the role of the commission is public oversight of the department and overseeing complaints against the department. He was merely informing a member of the public of their ability to make a complaint and directed him to the director, the chief investigator of the Office of Citizen Complaints. I don't understand how that's disrespectful, how he perceives it as such, but just because he perceives something as disrespectful doesn't mean it was intended to be. And so I go back to the matter of, his complaint is that he recanted. First of all, he didn't recant. He merely expanded upon his initial point by saying it doesn't need to be the 14-year-old. Any member of the public may make the complaint. And in the deputy city attorney's response in the background, he even says, complainant Marlon Crump alleges that on May 23, 2011, San Francisco Police Commission, the commission violated the ordinance in some less than fully specified manner. If he's complaining about the fact that there was a recanting, I don't see there was a recanting for one, because he merely clarified the point and the process by which any member of the public could bring a grievance forward. So I don't see disrespect. I mean, if he sees that as disrespect, I can't help his feelings. I'm not responsible for those. But he did not complain that he was abridged, and it's evidenced by his fact that after Dr. Marshall clarified, he said, quote, "But I'm done with that. Thank you for having me speak my testimony," or I'm sorry, speak that testimony. There's no abridge, no prohibition. Dr. Marshall waited till he appeared to be finished and merely clarified so that the public in the room knew that someone else besides the 14-year-old could make a complaint. Mr. Crump stated that he said all he had to say and thanked us for hearing his testimony. So with that, being that it only appears, and the deputy city attorney said less than fully specified manner, I believe he's complaining about a recantation. And it'd be great if the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force could keep politicians around from recanting anything they ever said. But it is not a prohibition to recant or to clarify a point. And as there is no prohibition violated, there is no jurisdiction. And that's the point that I was trying to make.
Thank you. Is there anybody to present facts and evidence in support of the respondent? I'm sorry, sir, you've already spoken. It has to be somebody. You'll have a chance to speak again. Seeing none, the matters of the task force. Member Nee.
Lieutenant Falvey, please. Just a quick question. How long, when people want to present public comment at police commission meetings, how long are they given? 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
Typically speaking, we allow 3 minutes of public comment unless there is a particular agenda item that has generated so much public attendance that in the matter to keep the meeting going, we sometimes reduce it to 2. I remember one night we had 46 or 47 people show up to speak on one item. So to keep the meeting moving, to keep from taking over, it was 2 minutes, and that worked fine. But he was given 3 minutes, and when any time a commissioner says anything, I hit the pause button on the timer so as not to take away from their 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me while I'm up?
No.
Mr. Crump? Yes. Please approach the microphone.
Yes, absolutely.
You're claiming violation of 67.15D and 67.25. Let's get let's take care of 67.25 first.
Okay.
67.25 deals with public records. Did you
Yes.
make an immediate disclosure request for a public record?
That's another thing I wanted to mention. That I also want to apologize before this committee. This was my fault. I trusted somebody else's information, and regarding to the immediate response, I didn't realize that it applied to grievance filings. I didn't know it applied to public speaking. So that was my
Okay,
fault.
so 67.25 is really out the
Yes,
window here.
it's
Okay,
right.
now on
That's
60.
another reason why I'm interrupt. That's why I put it as a possibility, because when I was reading through, I said, I'm not sure this
All
applied
right,
to.
let's get to 67.15D.
Yes.
That has to do with public comment at a public meeting.
Yes.
Are you claiming that your right to public comment? Now you heard Lieutenant Falvey say
Yes, I did.
that there was a 3-minute time limit.
Yes,
for
I know.
for public speaking. Usually might be chopped down to 2.
Absolutely.
Were you actually denied your full public speaking time at a police commission meeting?
Not entirely. What he failed to disclose, I saw his response. He didn't upload the link to April 6th, the date that actually spoke.
All right, well, are you claiming that your public speaking rights under 6715D were violated?
They were in part because.
They were in, okay, that's all I want to know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No further questions? Okay, at this point, the respondent will have 3 minutes to respond, add any other further facts or evidence.
I would just, based on his statement just there, that it was not entirely violated or whatever it was exactly he said, I didn't write it down. He didn't allege that at all in his complaint. It's, I think, something he thought of after he saw my letter. If you watched it, I did quote from the meeting that he claimed that I apparently didn't provide the link for. If you go to SFG TV, you can find all of our things and look up April 6th. But the quote that he made was the one I read earlier. I'm just looking for it here to read it back into the record. But I'm done with that. Thank you for having me speak that testimony. And he didn't use the full 3 minutes, and nobody told him to stop speaking, and nobody told him he couldn't criticize. It was, in fact, in response to that the doctor was simply trying to say if he doesn't want to make a complaint, anybody can make the complaint for him. It doesn't have to be him. He's merely trying to inform the public. Mr. Crump did not run out of time. No one told him to stop speaking because the timer never went off because he didn't use the whole 3 minutes, and he said he was done with that. So I don't see an abridging. I just see him trying to clarify to save him from having to keep going if he didn't want to. But that's just what I saw, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. At this point, the complainant has 3 minutes to rebut or add any further evidence. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. What Lieutenant Timothy Falvey, clearly he's showing prejudice and bias because one reason is I didn't bother to go out there and try to find the public document records. I mean, because they put me through so much already, so I figured it's not even worth it. But if you look at the tape clearly on April 6th, he specifically interrupted my public comment, which violates their own commission rules of order. And even Thomas Masuku himself had to nudge his elbow to tell him to be quiet because he was interfering with my public comment. Now, although it does say in some areas that a police commission member can briefly discuss or reply back to a member of the public speaking, but the bottom line is just from a reality standpoint, Mr. Marshall specifically tried to recant his story. And even what I'm confused about is how can he come up here and sit up here and say that, I didn't submit this or this didn't happen this way, when the tape clearly shows, him actually asking me that question, did he make a complaint? Look at the man's face. It was a form of features of insensitivity.
Okay.
And on top of that, April 6th clearly shows him trying to interrupt my public testimony, which honestly has never happened because I went to the police commission for many years following the police attack at my home, which he himself was involved with. But anyway, that's a story for another time. That's exactly what happened. I would not come up here, waste my time, waste your time, telling anything differently. So he can discredit me all he wants, but the tape is there in plain view.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, the matters with the task force. I'd like to say something first. Again, I think this is another case where we have clearly have a difference of opinion about what happened on both sides, but I do think that this is, it's clear to me that this is, we should find jurisdiction on this case and that leave it for the full task force to talk. Member Nee?
So move. Move to find jurisdiction.
I second that. We have a motion and seconded. Do we have public comment on this case? Anybody who has not spoken or not involved in this case, it's their time to speak. Seeing none, the matter is back to the task force for a vote.
On the motion, Member Nee.
Aye.
Nee, aye. Member Knapper.
Aye.
Knapper, aye. Mr. Chair, there are 2 ayes. The motion passes.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, when would this be on?
Item number 3 is determination.
I'm sorry. When would this be on for this month?
This
What-
will be on the 24th. I think.
Okay, so this motion is moved, this case will be moved to the full task force, yes.
Before the parties in interest to the previous item leave, I would strongly suggest that at the full task force meeting, which will take place on June 28th, it will be helpful to the task force if you're able to come with either a recording and or a transcript of the incident that is the subject of the complaint.
Thank you. Yes.
I think I mentioned before, and I'm not pulling any punches here. I'm not going to bite my tongue. Every time I request some information, or if I look it up, there's always been some problems with.
Okay, well, we can address that at the regular task force meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have the next item, please?
Item number 3 is determination of jurisdiction on complaint filed by Anonymous against the Taxi Advisory Council allegedly violating public meeting laws.
Is the complainant present? See no complainant. Is anybody here to present facts and evidence in support of the complainant? Mr. Clerk, do we have any words from the complainant about this meeting?
Mr. Chair, no, hasn't been any connection.
Okay, thank you. Is the respondent present? Please approach. You have 5 minutes.
I'm Jarvis Murray with the SFMTA Taxi Services Division. And we've already responded in writing to the complaint, so I don't know if there's anything additional that I need to add to this matter, only in that, we care very much about transparency and the open meeting process, and we do take the complaint seriously. And for what it's worth, the Taxi Advisory Council is new, and it's made up of people in the taxi industry who don't have a lot of experience in government affairs. It's only been going since about August, I believe, of 2010. And in the future, we're definitely going to actively work with the council to make published agenda topics more narrow and more focused, so that the average person can understand what's going on in each individual meeting. But beyond that, I don't have anything to add.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody to present facts and evidence in support of the respondent? I'm going to reiterate, just because we have new people come in, is the person who filed the complaint, the anonymous complaint against the Taxi Advisory Council, present? Okay, the matter is with the task force. There's not a lot of information in our packet about this. I don't see where the complaint is going. I would move to table. I don't feel like we can move on past where we're at. How would you feel, Member Nee?
Well, my own inclination would be, the allegation seems fairly clear, violation of the public meeting laws by considering and passing a motion that was not on the published agenda for the meeting. To me, that spells jurisdiction. Now, when it comes time to weigh substance, then we can require a little more. But for the moment, I would say, strictly on the question of jurisdiction, it looks good to me.
Again, I'm not completely convinced, but when we come with these type of cases, I'm always leaning towards fine jurisdictions unless there's a reason not to. So, can we have, do we have a motion?
Well, I think we should give the respondent
I'm sorry.
a
You're
chance to make
absolutely
any
right.
concluding remarks first.
You're absolutely right. The respondent, do you have anything else to add?
Well, just really quickly, I want to
Microphone,
make clear,
please.
I'm new at this
Yes.
at the Sunshine Task Force, and I guess we're actually not technically the respondent. We are not the Taxi Advisory Council. I'm the MTA. We are the council liaison to the
Okay.
Taxi Advisory Council, but I'm actually not the advisory council, so I may have spoken out of turn in coming up here. But I was here to just monitor the proceeding more than anything. So it may have been inaccurate for me to speak at the time because we are not the Taxi Advisory Council. I'm the MTA.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Sir, we do appreciate your coming before us then. If this does go before the full task force, could you please inform the council or whoever is in charge of it that at the hearings, the respondent is expected to send somebody who is knowledgeable in the matter to appear before the task force, in case we have any questions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Matt's task force.
Move to find jurisdiction.
I will agree. I will second that. Now the matter is open for public comment. We have public comment on this matter. Seeing none, can we have a vote, please?
On the motion, Member Nee.
Aye.
Nee, aye. Member Knebber.
Aye.
Knebber, aye. Mr. Chair, there are 2 ayes. The motion passes.
Thank you very much. Can we have the next item, please?
Item number 4 is determination of jurisdiction on complaint filed by Christine Harris against the police department for allegedly violating her civil rights, constitutional rights, and human rights.
Thank you. Is complainant here?
I am. Hello.
Okay. Thank you. You have 5 minutes, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Christine Harris. I filed a federal lawsuit on February 22nd this year, a complaint against the City of San Francisco, County of San Francisco, Bryant Square Lofts, Sergeant Raymond Beasley, part of the San Francisco Police Department, badge number 2073, Michelle Beasley, his wife, Deborah Davids, president of the Homeowner Association, and Peter Davids with Jones Day Law Firm. I am a victim of very strange crimes. I am a victim of a crime called gang stalking. I'm a victim of the use of microwave weapons, directed energy weapons. I, in fact, believe that Sergeant Raymond Beasley was in my window, November 2008, pointing the weapon at me, burning my organs. I have been denied police reports. My home phone is tapped. My cell phone is tapped. I've been a resident of San Francisco since 1989. I have never in my entire life been through the past things that I have been through in the past 2.5 years. I have been denied police reports on every single request that I've ever had with the police department. I've been to probably 12 police commissioner meetings, of which I have been stalked by an SFPD employee by the name of Raj Naiker. I have a videotape of Raj Naiker threatening me and my family. I have an audio tape of Raj Naiker with SFPD saying they are going to kill my family if I expose the crimes. I have reported these perpetrators and the crimes against me to the World Court and the International Prosecutor and to the Hague Court for War Crimes. As I say, the crimes are sort of strange and unusual, but there are actually thousands of victims. I've submitted quite an extensive complaint to the District Court for the Northern California. I've submitted all of my information to the U.S. Attorney General and to the Department of Justice. And if I need to further give you more information, I'm happy to do so.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is the respondent present? Is there anybody here to present facts and evidence in support of the complainant? Seeing none, is respondent present? You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Richard Goss with the Police Department Legal Division. I'm here, I guess, in place of Lieutenant Simon Silverman, who's been granted a nice training session in Boston and won't be around for a couple of weeks. Lieutenant Silverman responded to the request, or rather the allegation on Wednesday, June 1st, and I assume that you have received the letter. We got an email indicating that you had. And I'd love to respond further, except that, as Lieutenant Silverman says, we really don't have anything, we don't have any information that we can investigate to determine if there has been some sort of violation. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have, but I really haven't been able to locate any specific violation in the complaint.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, this letter that the respondent has spoke of, do we have that?
That is on page 31, Mr. Chair.
Oh, okay. This short one. Okay. I thought it was a longer one. Thank you.
No, it's pretty short.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Certainly.
Is anybody here to present facts and evidence in support of the respondent? Seeing none, the matter is with the task force. Yes. Mr. Neal.
Ms. Harris, please approach. You said that you have been denied police reports.
Yes, I've had to basically pull teeth to get them.
Okay. Can you point in your complaint? Your complaint does not list any specific instances in which you were denied public records.
The information that I've given you here is actually just a sequence of dated incidents of the crimes against me. My complaint that I filed into the federal court is more extensive.
Okay, but what we're trying to determine here is whether, in fact, any of the complaint, and without prejudice to the complaints listed hereon, maybe I've missed something, but I don't see anything in your complaints here that fall into the bailiwick of the task force. The task force's jurisdiction deals with access to public meetings and to public records. And you have made no specific allegation of any denial of access to either one.
I actually just subpoenaed the city of San Francisco and SFPD for any list that I'm supposed to be on. I'm supposed to be on this hit list, and I didn't get records of that either.
Okay, but you don't mention that in the complaint. When did you make that request?
I just subpoenaed the city of San Francisco about a month ago and got an objection letter from the attorneys.
Okay.
Okay, well, that would have to be listed on your complaint, and it's not.
Okay.
So without prejudice to the substance thereof, again, and without prejudice to the substance of the other complaints you've listed on here, frankly, I don't see where we could find jurisdiction here.
Understand.
Can you can you point to can you point to something that might indicate otherwise?
Well, if you were to read the 60 pages I submitted into the file, into the federal courts, you would see a cover-up of crimes from the San Francisco Police Department.
Okay, but that's not in your complaint here.
Yeah, Mr. I'm sorry to interject, but Mr. Harris, our sole purview is to have open information from the city of San Francisco. So if you could point to specific complaints, specific instances where you have not gotten documents from the police department or the police commission, then and you can document them. Then you can bring them to us. Or if you are at a public meeting of the police task of any offices of the police department, police commission, where they have not allowed you to speak or allowed you to participate, that is all. Unfortunately, that is all that we can deal with. So we've read your complaint and we can't find anything specifically mentioned in there. So I have to agree with my colleague that I don't think we can find jurisdiction in this when it times comes.
Okay. And if there have been documents that I'm not able to obtain, am I able to submit that to you then?
You would have to file another complaint.
Okay,
Start
will
over.
do.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Okay, now this time where we have time for rebuttal. First, the respondent has 3 minutes. Thank you. Then the complainant. Anything to add? Ms. Harris,
Ms.
anything to
Harris,
add? Okay, thank you. So matter with the task force for motion.
I move to find no jurisdiction.
I second. Is there any public comments on this matter? Yes.
Yes, I just want to state for the record that I've known Ms. Harris for 2 years, and literally, when she first came to me and my comrade Misha Mohin Iriziri, who's the director of the Idris Slave Foundation, she was literally fright beyond belief. And because of our help, she's actually, she's alive right now because of a series of articles I've done. But I do want to point out for the record that last year, the police department did, quote unquote, lose her police report. And I had to literally file a complaint with OCC. I remember it was April 20th of 2010 because they were playing all kind of games with her, and they've actually done that. And my response to them was, how does a police department lose a complaint filed by a citizen? But then it somehow miraculously pops up. So everything that Ms. Harris says is accurate. Otherwise, I would not be here right now with her. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, let's bring it back to task force for a vote.
On the motion, Member Nee.
Aye.
Nee, aye. Member Kaneba.
Aye.
Kaneba, aye. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the 2 ayes. The motion passes.
Member Nee.
Yeah. Before the parties in interest leave the meeting, I just want to point out that the motion that just passed is a recommendation to the full task force. We are recommending to the full task force that no jurisdiction be found in this matter. The matter will appear on the agenda for the task force, and if you want to argue to the full task force that jurisdiction to be found, you're welcome to do so. I can't guarantee that the full task force will agree with you, but you're certainly welcome to present that case if you would, if you want to try to make it. That's, if not, if you don't appear, the task force will vote. If the task force does vote not to find jurisdiction at that time, the matter is concluded. If the task force votes to find jurisdiction, then you will be expected to present evidence that substantiating your complaint. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have the next item, please?
Next item is the administrator's report. Mr. Chair, I do not have anything to add.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on the administrator's report? Seeing none. Have the next item, please.
Next item is public comment for items not listed on the agenda.
Do we have any public comment for any items not listed on this agenda? Seeing none. Can we have the next item, please?
Item number 7 is announcements, comments, questions, and future agenda items from committee members.
Do we have any announcements? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
On the rise and vote.